everyone. My name is Kate Curley. I'm the coordinator for student organizations and leadership. I'm super excited that you all are here. This is one of my favorite days of the year to get to see you all. We don't often have all of you in one room, so it's really cool to see you all. The leaders, a lot of the work and the leadership that we see here on campus is coming from you all, so I want to thank you. I know being an executive board member of a student organization isn't easy. Actually, it's quite hard. But the skills that you're learning in here are going to serve you so well. And the work that you're doing doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you. Without any further ado, I'm going to get us started so we can get you out here in a timely manner. I thank you for being here late on a Monday night. So again, my name is Kate Curley. Perfect, thank you. I'm going to have my team introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, so I am Candace Toulaws. I am the graduate assistant for student organizations and leadership here at Eastern. And so you get a lot of emails from me to your Eagle Sync, to your email inbox. That's me, I'm Candace. So get to know me. If you ever have any questions or anything happening with your student org that you need a question answered, you can come to me. Or any of us, but yeah.
Hi, I'm Rupa, and I'm the student org student assistant, and I'm the other person who sends you emails, and if any question I don't know, I send it over to Candace, so that's me.
So what's really important to remember is, so we are part of campus life, and there's a lot of different parts of campus life. And we say that just to say that there's a lot of things that come out of our office, right? There's our activities and engagement programs, right? Those are our Sky Lounges, Eastern excursions, lyric lounges, all of those things, lectures. We have our orientation programming, our parent and family programming, and our Greek life, which is kind of in conjunction with student organizations and leadership. So this is just a taste of some of the programs that we're going over. We're going to talk about some of those today, so get excited. Again, this is the time that we kind of tell you the nitty-gritty of what you need to know to be successful this year. Some really useful things here. We also have some really cool, exciting opportunities that are starting this year that are new. So we're excited to share about that. And we're going to start with the one thing, if you forget, and if anyone has had a conversation with me about managing a student organization, there's one thing that I always remind people to do, right? It's the annual update process. So we're going to have Rupa talk about that.
Hello. Can you guys hear me in the back?
Make sure it's close enough to your...
Can you guys hear me in the back? Yes, no? Yeah. No?
Yeah, close. Make it
Close.
close.
Okay. Yeah. Whoa, that's really loud. So the annual update process. Many of you guys have done this for Fajita Fest. Who participated in Fajita Fest? Let me hear. Woo! It was a great success this year. So why is the annual update process important? So you can participate in campus life events like Fajita Fest and Winter Fest. It's also important you can receive your X Fund because, you know, who doesn't want money, right? And then also, how often do you guys have to do this? You have to do this once a year or every time a board member changes. So that means that let's say you update in February, but then a board member graduates in April, you still need to go in and update it so we can have all the updates ready. And what do you have to do? So you have to go update and renew through your Eagle Sync. And then once that's through, you have to fulfill out your e-signature forms. All e-board members and your advisor has to fill out their e-signature form. And then once we get it, we submit it for academic and judicial checks. And once academic and judicial checks are done, we send them back, and then you guys are approved. So something really exciting that all of our student org team is really excited to announce is that we are having an upgrade to our Eagle Sync, and it has like great features. Like for example, if you don't for your registration, if you are a club that, like Greek Life, a club that updates your positions in December, you can update in December. Or if you're a club that updates in April, you can update in April. You don't always have to update in September or like the beginning months of school, which is really nice. So stay tuned for emails for that update because it's going to be a great one. So this is the annual update process. So as you can see to the right or to the left, when you go onto your portal on Eagle Sync, you'll click on Settings, and then you'll go down and click on Organization Settings. Once you click on that, It'll say your organization profile, and there will be a button, update and renew profile. And so what you'll do is you'll click that and you'll fill out all the information you need. You need to have like your meeting times, 5 different board members, an advisor, and then you'll click submit. And once that is finished, all your e-board members and your advisor will receive an e-signature form through the email. And so once you get it through email, the email will look like this. And you'll click out fill out form. And then it will take you to the form. And you'll press fill out form. And then you'll fill out the information. You'll check I agree. You'll write your name and you'll put your EID. And make sure your EID is right, or else it'll be the hassle of me having to contact you, and your update and renew process is going to be slightly delayed. But it's not the end of the world if it's wrong too. And then you have to click continue. And then you have to hit finish once. And then you have to hit finish twice. This is a step that so many people forget, and I've always get emails, I filled it out, and I'm like, no you didn't, because you didn't hit finish twice. So hit finish twice, and then we'll get on our end and be able to do academic and judicial checks. And so now it's the Student Org's resource page. This is like my best thing, my favorite thing is coming to the decision, because this has everything on it. Literally everything. So at the top you can see Connect Retreat Registration. So at the top we always have the latest thing that's happening, or the latest information that you need to sign up for. So right now it's a Connect Retreat, so if you're interested, go to our student resource page and click on the top link. The next section there is to, if you managing an organization, if you want to update your bylaws or constitution, if you want to start a new organization, or anything of that aspect, that's all in that area. And there's also officer transitions, and that's something that I know is very dear to my heart, because I'm in an org, and officer transition is a really big thing. So if you guys struggle with that, you guys can go to those links, and it can help you. And then there's also a special events form, and we have conference and event services here, and they'll go into more details about that. But if you have any questions, like kind of like the basics of what to do, it's on the resource page. We also have office space applications, and those come out later in the year, so we don't worry about that now. But if you're interested, look out for emails from Candace or I later on. And then, well, right now we can't scroll down, but if you were to scroll down, it will come up to be solars, and I'm not going to go much into that, but we're here at the first solar kickoff, which is exciting, and Candace will go into all the rest of the solars throughout the year. And then we have financial resources all over there, and that's anything from like X-Fund questions. I know I'm not that good with finances, coming in as a new employee like recently, and so I always refer to that, and I would too, just for general questions. And one thing that's important, they have like fundraising opportunities, so if your org needs to fundraise, there's fundraising, or if your org wants to get money through grants, there's also grants and collaborations that will go on in further in the presentation. And then if you go down, there's management policies, and this is policies like if you're putting up flyers, bulletins, there's guidelines and rules that you have to follow, so that's all incorporated in there as well. And then there's also underneath there, which we can't show right now, there's peer engagement coaches, and I don't know how many of you have heard of it, but I feel like all of you guys would be great at it because you guys are with your peers, and it's pretty much mentoring other peers to find their passion here at Eastern and pretty much to help them out. And then the last thing on the resource page is OrgSync help, and I know a lot of us have OrgSync problems, so you guys can go to those links to help. One link that I use a lot is the OrgSync help desk, which is kind of like a chat service, where if you have like a question or something isn't working, definitely go and click on that. So I'm going to pass it on to Candace.
Well, hello. So I'm going to talk about just a few of the leadership and recruitment opportunities we have coming up. And hopefully you all will sign up for these and be involved in these because they're really cool things that are happening. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called Connect. Connect is our student organization leadership retreat. It is happening October 13th to 15th this year. And it's the application is already open, and it's open until the 20th. So if you're looking to sign up for this, make sure you sign up by September 20th. So that we can go through all the applications and figure out who's going to be able to come on that retreat with us. What I will say is this is an all expenses included trip. So it's a really cool opportunity for you to get away from campus for a weekend and really connect with your peers outside of the classroom and outside of like being on campus. The next one we're going to talk about a little bit about is alternative weekends. So you heard Max mention this a little bit earlier. You'll get a lot of information about this from Max. The sign up for alternative weekend is September 15th, and what this is an opportunity to go into the community for a weekend and do community service projects and different leadership development projects with, I believe it's 2 orgs that are going to be combined this year, and it's going to be a really cool opportunity to be able to give back to the community as well as also build those bonds with another group of students. The next thing, everybody get excited because this is my favorite thing.
Solar.
Cool opportunities and topics that are really relevant to student life and student organization leadership development. So those are typically on a Monday, 7 to 9. Usually we try to do it the second Monday of the month. Sometimes it's a little bit off depending on finals and different things like that. But keep those dates. You all got a sheet when you signed in that has all those dates on it. Keep that handy. What I will say is October is going to be about civic engagement. It's going to be a really cool presentation, so look forward to that one. And November is going to be about wellness. So those are just some of the topics that are coming up with solar. Oh yeah, don't want to forget this. Another thing about all of the rest of the solars, not kickoff, but all of these, is that student organizations can get money by sending members. So you can send up to 5 members per your organization, and you'll get a certain percentage of that money depending on how many people show up to that event. So you'll get a different chunk of money, and there were organizations that got over $100 by just sending members to these throughout the year last year. So it's a really cool opportunity to also gain a little bit of money for your organization and gain skills that are really important to being a leader on campus. So thank you. And the last opportunity I'm going to talk about here is Winterfest. A lot of people here went to Fajita Fest. That was just last week. And now the next one to look forward to, it's going to be on Tuesday, January 9th. It's called Winterfest. Typically we do it in the ballroom. You have fun activities and you get to do more recruitment. So look for more emails with that for sign-ups and different things like that. Sign-up will probably be around the beginning of November, so be looking out for that. The next thing we're going to talk about is student organization finances and funding. I'm going to just talk briefly about X funds and different things like that. If you have more specific questions that we're not answering, feel free to reach out to us about this, because I know that student org X funds and different things can be kind of confusing. So if I don't answer your question here, you can either come up to me afterwards or feel free to send me an email. So an X fund, what is an X fund? So an X fund is a student organization finance account through the university, essentially like a bank account through the university. The importance of having an X fund is if you want to receive any funding from student government, from campus life, from any departments, anything that might be sending you money, you have to have an X fund because that's the only way they can send a student organization money. So in order to sign up for this, you can get more information on our resource page, our student org resource page. It's linked there at the very bottom. That's what Rupa went over a little bit ago. And it has all the forms you need to fill out in order to sign up for an X fund. And then it also has a frequently asked questions sheet on there as well that goes through all these different questions student orgs typically have and what different forms and things you need to fill out for that thing. So if you want to contact General Accounting, their email is there. It's buzzfin_generalaccounting@emish.edu. That's an important email to have if you ever have any financial questions. They typically will give you a more in-depth answer than we can in campus life. So that's an important email to have. And this is probably the thing I'm most excited about as far as going forward this year. This is something brand new that we are coming out with. And so it's called Eagle Connections. It's a collaboration grant. And what it essentially is it's to get orgs who don't normally collaborate to be collaborating and creating events on campus to bring us all together as a campus community. And so we're really excited to bring these events onto campus that positively impact. And what we're going to do is, if you partner up with another organization that you're typically not partnering with, and you fill out all these forms, we are going to be granting money to those events to see them happening on campus, because we in Campus Life think it's super important to build that community here on campus. So the applications are open now. They are on EagleSync. The application is on EagleSync, and you can get to it through that resource page. We also have like a guideline sheet on the resource page, so if you just wanted to get more information about what it actually looks like and what you have to provide in your application, you can find it on that resource page. And what I will say is you want to note that it's due by October 6th. So we're asking that all these be in by October 6th so we can look through all the different suggestions that we're getting, or like the different applications that we're getting for these events, and then we're going to divide funding to each of those depending on how we've seen that they need this funding and how the impact that they're going to have on our campus. So we really want to see impactful things that are going to bring a lot of people together in a space and be celebrated. So if you want more information about that, you can talk to myself or Kate Curley. And we're super excited about this. We're really hoping that this is going to help our campus come together as a community. So the next thing we are going to hear, we are going to hear from the Director of Business and Finance from Student Government, Justin Snyder. So I'm going to let him come and take the podium.
ENE has a student government. We are either elected, appointed, or decided to essentially represent the student body in issues, a lot of times where we kind of translate what the students want to the faculty and kind of be that voice for the students to the administration. A lot of times what we like pass through Senate and things along that nature go to the faculty, and they definitely take notice. Student government has a very prominent role in administrative decisions. So I'm going to first go over the executive board of the student government. So it's headed by the student body president, Miles Payne. So he essentially is the primary person that talks to administration. He's elected by he was elected by the student body last year. Vice President Larry Borum, he's in charge of what's called the Senate, which is essentially the main body of student government that makes these decisions. Then you have our Director of Communications, Katie. So she's essentially the secretary of the organization, as well as the person that is in charge of our social media. You have a Director of Political Action, Candace. I'm pretty sure she's in the audience. Yeah, there she's back there. So she essentially is in charge of doing a lot of educational programming. This person is the Director of Business and Finance. He's the coolest guy in there. So I'm essentially the treasurer of the organization, and I also am in charge of distributing funds to different organizations on campus. Then you have the Director of Community Engagement, which is Caleb. He's in charge of enacting community service projects on behalf of student government. This is a newer position, so it's still being expanded upon. The next one you have is the Director of Student Services, which is Mel. She's also in the audience, I believe. Yeah, right there. So Mel is essentially in charge of doing a lot of big campus events like Club Cali, I know you guys know over here. That's essentially done by the Student Services Committee. Then lastly, we have a Director of Sustainability, which is Leah. She's in charge of putting forward a lot of recycling initiatives on campus, and like you guys know, those bike stations that are around, the pump stations, that was Leah's doing. And she also does a lot of work behind the scenes with faculty in making a more sustainable campus. The last two people, these are elected by the Senate. So we have the Speaker of the Senate, which is Anna. She's essentially in charge of promoting cohesion among student government and putting together retreats and student government events. Lastly, the Judicial Sergeant, Mahara. He's in charge of making sure we are following the bylaws and keeping order during meetings. So student government's essentially ran, there's the Senate, like I've been talking about, and then there's 4 subcommittees. So the 3 kinds of people involved in student government are the executive board, which are the people I just went through. You have senators. Right now we have 16. We can have up to 22. Each of these senators are essentially meant to represent 1,000 students. So we have about 22,000 students. So up to 22 people can serve on the Senate currently. We also have 5 delegate positions that are meant to represent a large portion of the student body's election. So it says section 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. So these are essentially PowerPoints that you have to go through to understand the different funding requirements that we have. So once you're done reviewing all those, you would go to the end and you would start doing the form. That's me. So you go through the form and essentially ask, like, what are you asking funding for? So the event, the date, the time, the description, some members, and the contact information of the student org. And then once you fill that out, it goes right to me. I check over it to make sure everything checks out. Once I check it out, I will send you an email after doing that to see if there's any follow-up things. A lot of times I need invoices or things of that nature. And then once you fulfill all the requirements, I will contact you about that. This is an important note though, so if you submit all of these things, if you want to be at the next meeting, which is every other Tuesday, starting next Tuesday, you have to submit all the documents the Friday prior. So you can't submit things the day of and expect to be at that meeting. That will not fly, we will not let you in. We had a problem with that last year. So this is the Business and Finance Committee. Once I approve you to come in, you will come in the date, and you will essentially pitch to us why you think that your event should receive X amount of funding for it. So in this, a lot of things we consider are that you showed that you did outside funding aside from just asking us, that you are trying to market this to as many students as possible, that you have a well-thought idea for the event, and that there is going to be a lot of people per the amount you are requesting. These will all help you get through, you receive funding for the committee. The amount you're asking can also be reduced or increased depending on the urgency of the event. So if you're granted funding, I'm going to obviously email you and you would know in the meeting. And once the funding is in, if it's an event on campus, a lot of times they can string it right to Kathy. It would take about like 2 or 3 days roughly. Is that correct? Yeah, so about 2 or 3 days if it's an event on campus. However, if it's for purchases outside of the university, it's going to take about 2 or 3 weeks to get into your excellent, and then it takes probably about a week or 2 to get reimbursed or get a check dismissed from that. So it has to be well in advance. You can't come into a committee meeting and ask for money for an event that's like happening in like a day. It's not going to happen. We can't transfer the funds that fast. But one last thing. So one of my summer projects this year was I made a student org treasurer Facebook page. So for those of you that don't know, I essentially I first sent out a bunch of Facebook friend requests, and a lot of people denied me, and it's fine. I'm not mad, I swear. I'm a little mad. But the people that accepted the friend requests that were treasurers, I added them to the page. I also sent a follow-up email, and by those people on the page right now, we have about 110 people on the page right now. So if your organization isn't on this page, let me know, or tell them to email me at my email, which I'll put up in a second. I want them on that page. This is essentially going to be my way of talking to all the treasurers at once and giving them maybe tips about collecting dues, receiving finances, things along that nature. So if you have any questions about anything involving student government or receiving funds, please email me. My email's right there, jsnide26@umich.edu. All right, and that's it for me.
So for those of you that I haven't met, and if you are president or the person in your group that plans all your events, you will probably get to know my pretty face over the next year or however long you're serving. So my role in the office is to help student orgs with their larger events. Fashion shows, performances in the ballroom, if you're doing a big fashion show, step show, all that fun stuff, I'm your girl for that. Multi-date forms are handled in our office, and I'll get those in a second. I do not touch those bad boys because there are a lot of you and few rooms. Whew, I don't get in the middle of that mess. But one quick thing to Justin's point about funding. I try really hard, and there's a lot of you and one of me, to make sure that student government has the accurate invoices for your event. A few years ago, we had a lot of issues with students just making up random charges and either would overcharge, meaning taking more money from student government, or undercharge, which is a big problem, for their events. So you have to have an invoice from our office. It doesn't need to be from Kathy Steiner. Anybody in our office can help you with your event, and more than likely it's just going to be me though. But that helps you be truthful. It helps you be upfront with Justin and what you're asking for. And I work closely enough with him to be like, hey, I think we can tweak things. If the group comes back and says, crap, we didn't get enough funding, just come and talk to me and we'll see what we can do. So just know that I communicate with Justin as much as I communicate with Kate and Candace. I tell them way too much about you all, because whatever happens in campus life, frozen, inactive, great, you're in current standing, I get that info. So if you're frozen currently or having issues with your org, you lose your privileges to make reservations as a student org. So it's important for you all to keep up on those updates, work with campus life, work with student government, work with us. We are here to help you guys as much as we can. On to my fun stuff. So, our office. We are located upstairs in the Student Center, room 312, right by 310 A and B. We manage and write contracts and run events for Student Center stuff, McKinney, and the Lake House. We also write all of the catering contracts for campus. So if we have events over at the football game, teacher-faculty event at Hallie, our office is writing those as well. You will get to know me in the special event form very closely and the multi-dates. And I know this has come up, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard or wondered about it. Our office is a part of a large campus transition in terms of getting you guys more meeting space. We do not have enough to accommodate the amount of groups that we have on campus. Awesome problem to have. We are just part of the solution to try and find you more space. So while there is a plan in place, stay tuned for more info. I will push it out through Eagle Sync. I will get to Kate and anybody that I can help spread the word. We're hoping that eventually our office will be the resource point for Harold, and we can get you extra space. What that looks like, it would be a one-stop shop continuing, so you come to us for just about everything event or meeting related. So stay tuned for more. There's more, I promise, coming about that. So just a few updates. If you haven't seen or heard, our building hours have changed this year, so make note of that, please. It's on the website if you forget. And if you're doing an event for an upcoming, if you're doing marketing for an upcoming event, there we go. Here in the Student Center, be sure to get a electronic version of your flyer to me or to our office. And we will get it over to our marketing department, and they can get it on the TVs here in the building. We are becoming kind of limited on space in terms of the large posters that you see at all the entrances, so this is the way that we can still help you guys publicize all of your upcoming events. So I can't click on this, and I wasn't smart enough to realize that. So inquiry form versus a org sync special event form. Two totally different things. The first one is located on our homepage, BookingMU, and it literally asks the basic stuff. Where are you having it? How many people? What's the day? And tell me a little bit about it. It is the shortest Google form you're ever going to fill out. The events form, on the other hand, is totally different. So if you go to BookingMU and I get an inquiry sent to me like, hey, I think this is actually a special event, I'm going to kick you to the org sync. So if it's anything that is smaller than 40 people here in the Student Center, and it doesn't hit one of the special event form rooms, which I'll get to in a second, use the inquiry form. If you're looking for Student Center ballroom, Student Center auditorium, room 300, 310, McKinney, all the other fun places, that is a special event form for anybody 50 and over. Okay? I'm sorry I can't click on the link. I was proud of myself for doing that. So this is my favorite slide of my whole presentation. So it's a sad snowman. Because if he was happy, he'd be current, everything's up to date. I'm not hounding Kate trying to figure out what the heck's going on. Frozen, to me, you do not have privileges. You can still book it, but there will be a cost if your group is not up to date. And please just fix anything that's frozen. If it's an update form, get your updates done as fast as you can, because that's going to slow up your reservation process. So I don't want any sad snowman. Multi-date forms. How many groups in here meet on a bi-weekly, weekly, almost daily it feels like, time frame? Okay. How many of you, if you know, have submitted your multi-date forms? Ugh. So those hands that dropped, get them in ASAP. Promise. We are extremely full for the fall and winter already. So if you haven't submitted your form and you still need space, be open to whatever we're going to be able to get you at this point. We are working hard, like I said, with the Pray Herald stuff. finding some other opportunities that we can make more meeting spaces are available to everybody. But do not wait. Those forms come out every March. If you know that your group's going to meet in the same time, same day, same bat channel, get it in before you guys leave for summer. Because fall hits and you're in the process that we are, where I think I got a group in Friday mornings at, I think they were meeting at 11 or noon, and that was not their first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice of time frame. So get it in as soon as you can. Those are managed by our front office staff. They will work with you directly. Like I said in the beginning, I try not to touch those bad boys. They are about 20 pages, depending on how many dates and how many meetings you guys have. So that's a big contract for us. Me, on the other hand, I get the special event forms. Yay! They're so great. So OrgSync, super cool tool, right? How many of you found the create an event green button? Oh, please raise more hands. This makes me nervous. So, OrgSync, I need to do an event in the Student Center Auditorium. I want to have a panel discussion with Candace and all of her friends. It'll be a way more better filled out form than that. If you're current in OrgSync, under the Events tab on your org's homepage, you will see an event button that's green, much like I described here, create an event. Click on that, start answering the questions. That becomes a special event form depending on how you answer the questions. That then gets submitted to, God, what are we up to? 12 people, 13 people across campus that review what you guys are asking for. It can be anything under the sun. We've seen it all. I won't get into specifics and probably embarrass some of you, but it's better to ask and be told to tweak if we need to because of rules and policies, which are fun, than to just assume that it's not ever going to happen. So use the form. This form applies to specific buildings. Not all campus buildings right now are approved for special event forms, i.e. student or big events. So take a look at that list. It's combo, Ps, Rec IM, including a pool. That's a big one. Y'all can't just go swimming as a group without prior approval. University Park and Amphitheater, Lake House, Student Center ballrooms, where you're at, 310A, 310B, Student Center Auditorium, room 300, also affectionately known as Sky Lounge upstairs, and McKinney Any Room. So that's what you use the form for. If you're requesting space outside of that, you can use our website's inquiry form or come in and talk with us. For more information on the special event form, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty. Come to my breakout session. It'll be a rocking good time. So my last few quick tips. Be honest when you're submitting any form, even on the multi-date. If you know your group's going to want to meet at 9 o'clock, just tell us. If you're submitting a special event form, and this is where I hope I have most of your attention for the groups that do the big events, please be honest. Please tell me all of your crazy ideas that you may have for these events. Like I said, we've heard them all. But be upfront with us. If you're expecting 700 people, awesome. That's a few more discussions, but let's plan it. How is that going to look? What is that going to shape out to be? Don't come to me and say, oh, we're only going to get about 100 people, and then you all are planning for 700. That is a huge problem for us to help on the backside. 100, 700, there's a lot more to it. So the other thing with honesty on these forms and being truthful, I've been here 9 years, and I'm pretty close to knowing when I know I'm kind of being fibbed with a little bit. So please be honest with them. If you know something that you think is going to cause a red flag, just put it out there. I'd rather deal with it on the front end and help you get to that goal rather than being blindsided the night of the event and I can't help you and you have bigger consequences. If you don't know or aren't sure, ask questions. I'm a question person 110%. I raise my hand in almost every meeting. Ask. You guys do not do this for a living. I do. Our office does. We can help you. If you have an idea, let's talk it out. Presidents are key. See my little symbols? Who are the presidents in the room? Hi. Congratulations on being made president. That's a big role. You guys are the key to our office. See what I did there? Come on. You are ultimately responsible for your org in our office's eyes, even if somebody else from your org is planning it. There's a lot of groups on campus, and it's gotten better, thankfully, where the presidents don't even know what the group is doing event-wise. That's changed. So presidents, make sure that you're staying up to date with our office. You'll get to know our faces. You'll see our emails, but presidents are key to our office. Most likely, you are the ones that are getting all the multi-day forms if you haven't already. Signed contracts and payments are huge in our office. I've canceled events that don't have either or full payments on file. So if you have a funding issue, talk to me about that early on. Don't wait till the last day to say, I can't pay. Because while I am taking your money and or Justin's money from student government, we have staff to pay, we have vendors to pay, we have food costs to cover, we have building fees to cover when applicable. So it's not me just sitting in my office saying, hey, I'm going to take all your money. No, it's going for a good reason. It's going for something that you've requested. So be sure to do that. Let us help you plan a successful event. And then that is our main office email and our phone number on the bottom. Thanks.
Use that. Email that. That is probably the quickest way to reach any of us. We have student org specialists, these two people, the maroon pants up here, to help you out. Also manage memberships, right? So all of our emailing is through there. So I've had some questions about, hey, I'm not receiving emails. The reason being is that if you're not updated with us, that is kind of our list serve, right? So you want to make sure that you're updated with us when you're emailing the right people. It's sending, receiving messages, creating group committees, holding elections. You can actually hold elections through EagleSync, which is a really cool thing. No longer, do you have to use ballots, and then, hey, you're also the one counting the ballots. You can also submit forms through Campus Life. What's really cool as well, some people use this tool, and I actually encourage more of you to use this, is the forms feature in EagleSync. So the forms feature in EagleSync is actually more robust than Google Forms. Why is it more robust? It actually, you can, something called conditional formatting, right? So if I ask a certain question at the beginning, if you answer A, you can go into a certain level of questions. If you answer B, then I'm going to send you into this form, C, this form, and it's actually super robust, and that is a free service to you. I encourage you to use it. It's super useful. We are actually going through updates. So we heard from you, you've all been giving us feedback, and I want you to know that we take that really seriously. Right, so we've been working really hard, our team's been working really hard to make these updates. Just so you all know, one of the things that is starting this fall, right, if you want a learning beyond the classroom credit for your event, you have to go through EagleSync, right? And what's really cool is that it's, when you say create an event in EagleSync, it already sends you through that process, which is really cool. So you no longer do you have to send a separate email to this other person, you have to remember to do that. It's all streamlined through the system, so super exciting, right? Other things that we're starting to do, we're going to have separate Greek life and student organization and non-Greek life registration processes. So right now, Greek life has kind of a separate one. You have the student org, and then you also have to do these other things. It's all going to be streamlined into one process, so we're super excited about that. It's more user-friendly and attractive, right? So one of the things we're actually going to end up doing eventually is you're going to be able to track attendance and use mobile check-in for events. So no longer, so you can do that for your meetings, you can do that for your large-scale events to report LBC credit. You can also say, hey, how many people did we get here? Who's coming to our events? All of those things can be tracked in the system eventually. Super excited about that. We can also have, one of the things people ask, right, they want unique names of officers. Maybe you don't just have president, secretary, treasurer, and all those things. You can actually create like a vice chancellor of whatever. And that is something that is now available coming January. If there are other ideas, we are building this now. We want to hear your feedback. Again, that student organization email, please reach out to us. We do take that feedback very seriously, and anything we are able to do, we are going to do it. So it may take some time. It's not going to be tomorrow, but again, these things are coming, and you all are kind of logged in more than we are to see what's going to be most helpful for you. So moving forward, on your quarter sheets again, we talked about solar session. Please do go to those. Those are so helpful. Again, they're doubly incentivized. This is super easy money. There's very few things on campus that you get super easy money. This is super easy money. All you have to do is show up, right? This doesn't necessarily have to be president and vice president anymore, right? These can be members of your organization. What we often see too is, hey, it doesn't necessarily have to be you. Maybe it's your person that you're trying to groom to be a vice president or executive member, you can have that as requirements. You know, in terms of officer transition, these are an awesome tool. So please do use those. Connect. Connect is awesome. We already have our facilitators ready. They're super excited to come. We have also past Connect participants, also co-facilitating. It's in a beautiful location. Again, it's all inclusive as long as you sign up and go. So do that. I would do that this week. Just get that out of the way. And then Winterfest to continue that recruitment even in January.